I sure did.
I should have went no undershirt though.
Yeah, you got enough beard to hang. You're good.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter, would it? Can't tell I got an undershirt on anyways. Look like a shadow. It's not really good for this world of web cameras and stuff.
We definitely have some faces for radio. Glad we're going on video today.
Oh, Dennis is lost in the binds again. All right, we'll give just a second here for Dennis to come back. There he is. All right. Well, I think we're live, so we'll jump into this. So welcome everyone that joined us today on YouTube or whatever platform you're on. We had a big announcement last Friday of Harvest going virtual. And so I thought, today would be a good day to get us all here together and talk about what does that really mean? What are our plans for the year and what to look forward to? I know internally we always talk that Harvest in September is the 1 month a year that really defines our industry and what we do and is kind of the core of our business as a grower-owned company. And the other 11 months of the year, we're talking about it. So we felt, it's pretty important. It's a really big heart of the industry and for brewers alike. So with that, let's talk through some of that today and kind of the decision to go virtual and what that all means. And then for those of you on YouTube, we are going to talk through a couple of things here. And then if you have any questions or any thoughts that you want to drop in the comments, we'll be watching those. We'll try to answer some of those throughout. But if we don't get to it, we'll try to circle up at the end as well and see, so we can maybe answer any of those questions that are out there. So yeah, so with that, I guess let's talk about who we have here on camera today. Ryan, you want to kick us off and introduce yourself?
Hey, good morning, everyone, or afternoon, evening, middle of the night, wherever you might be in the world. My name is Ryan Hopkins, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Yakima Chief Hops. I am zooming to you today from the great Yakima Valley, also known as God's country, the greatest place on earth. So we're excited to talk with you today a little bit about our decisions to go virtual. These are important decisions for us, for the hop industry, for the brewing industry, and of course for the Yakima Valley.
Great, thanks, Ryan. Steve, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, hello, everybody. Good to be here with you today. I'm Steve Carpenter. I'm the Chief Supply Chain Officer for Yakima Chief Hops. The last dozen years or so, I've served on the management team in some role or another. And prior to that, in my former life, I was a hop grower and part of one of the original families that started this company. So happy to be with you today and answer any questions you might have about our decisions to bring the hop harvest to you this year.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Steve. Dennis, I know you're a little farther away from us. You want to jump in?
Right. Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Dennis Gade, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Global Sales for Yakima Chief, currently located in beautiful Belgium. And this will be my 8th harvest with YCH, which in modern beer times sounds awfully like a lot. So happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks, Dennis. How about you, Blaze?
Hey, good day, everybody. I'm Blaze Root. I am a brewer from the Pacific Northwest. I currently function as Director of Key Accounts and Brewing Innovation at Yakima Chief. I've had a lot of different roles with the company. Try to stay in tune with the hops. You always see me sniffing around the Yakima Valley, helping customers normally in Yakima during harvest, but looking forward to working with you all this year virtually.
Great. Thanks, Blaze. And Dean? Last but not
Hello,
least.
everyone. My name's Dean Monching. I'm the VP of Sales for Europe. I'm based in the United Kingdom in Kent, the major hop growing region on this piece of the earth. A side note, this is the first hop harvest in 33 years that I won't attend in person. So I think this virtual initiative is really probably partly a treatment for my hop addiction. So looking forward to chatting to you more about what we've got planned.
Awesome. That's great. Dean, it doesn't even look like you've been around that long. So that's impressive.
Yeah, since day one.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, thanks everyone. And I guess I'll mention who I am too. I'm Brian Pierce. I'm our Vice President of North American Sales. I work pretty closely with everyone here in the office and here in North America, and also with our marketing team. And so I guess with that, we already kind of made the announcement of Virtual Harvest, but thought, since all of us here were a big part of that decision, those discussions, I'm really trying to kind of weigh out all those variables. This would be a good discussion to kind of just shed some light on what that means for us. And Ryan, since you were kind of the center of a lot of these discussions and also doing a lot of communication throughout the company and with growers on what this might mean, you want to just tell us a little bit about, why we made this decision and kind of how we came to that decision?
Absolutely, Brian. For the past, as everyone is across the entire globe is very aware, for the past 18 months, we have been wrestling with a virus, a global pandemic, and that is very similar to what everyone has been thinking about, talking about, tweeting about, and all kinds of things. It has been a serious thing for the entire globe. I think it's the first time in human history where every person across the globe has been affected by one specific thing. And it truly is amazing. It's frustrating. It involves a lot of emotions. It involves a lot of questions. And for us, we are a grower-owned hop company. We pride ourselves in being a direct extension and reflection of our hop farmers who live here in the Yakima Valley, in Oregon, and in Idaho. And we take a tremendous amount of pride in representing those family farms. That's very important to us. This global pandemic has been a part of our operations for now 20 weeks. We have an office in Hong Kong, and they are very familiar with and first affected by COVID and how it impacted our operations, how we move around about the globe. Europe was kind of a second wave, and as Dean and Dennis alluded to, we have staff throughout Europe, and they've felt this a little more intensely than we did here in the States. As I feel like we in the United States kind of felt a third wave of this global pandemic, and it has created a lot of stress. We have all felt that. It has created, in many ways, a lot of opportunity. We have been, whether it feels like we're working from home or sleeping at work, we've been spending a lot of time doing things differently. And as we started to think about and plan for hop selection, it is the most important time of year for us as a company, as a hop industry. It's something that we celebrate, and it is bigger than any Christmas or other celebration that we would ever have. It's something that we look forward to, and we thrive in, and we welcome. And the reason that is because what we do is all about connections with people. Our entire company is built on connecting the world's greatest hop growers with the world's finest brewers. And that is more than just a mission statement to us. That is meaningful. And for those of you tuning in to this YouTube or Zoom or whatever platform we're using today, and you've experienced what it's like to come to Yakima and have a beer at Bale Breaker or Single Hill, or a late night beer at Sports Center, an even later night cocktail at another establishment, it's important to us. We work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 30 plus days. We love it, and that's how we're built. So this COVID has been hard for us. It's been hard for everyone, I think, zooming into this call. And with that, we take a lot of pride, a lot of responsibility, a lot of thought into the decisions that we make so that we can be the best partners for our hop growers and for our brewers. Here at Yakima Chief, we have two essential goals. One is safety of our people, and that is always going to be the priority for how we make decisions. The secondary goal to that is quality. We will do everything that we can to make sure that we're providing the highest quality products and service for our customers. When we look at safety, that trumps everything. We are a family business. We're owned by family farms, and we pride ourselves in working with family businesses throughout the globe. Selection is the biggest thing that we do every year. It's the most important thing that we do every year, and we have been leaders in that. I don't say that with any ego. I say that with confidence in what we've built over the past 10 years of providing selection to more and more customers. I have a work associate that I spend time with every now and again, and he lives in Oregon, and he said, "You guys have set the wake for what the hop industry does as far as making this connection directly to brewers with growers." And selection has been a big part of that. Hop harvest has been a big part of that. Here in the Valley, we receive and welcome and celebrate and spend all hours of the day and night with probably about 3,000 of our closest friends. Whether that's through our Hop and Brew School, or whether that's through the selection process, or whether that's just through visitors on their annual migration to Yakima to see what harvest is about. Last year, we spread that to Oregon. We spent a lot of time, had staff stationed in Oregon. And this year, our intentions were to spread that to Idaho with our family farms in Idaho. So this decision to take things virtual has been a hard one. And we've wrestled with it for weeks and weeks and weeks. It is something that, with the information that we have right now in front of us, we had to make some decisions so that we can be best prepared to continue to provide the highest quality experience for everyone involved. So with some of the information that we face, we on a daily, multiple times a day, are looking at the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and the World Health Organization. Whether we completely, and everyone in our companies completely agree with all of those things, that's a topic for another discussion. But it does set the stage for a set of information that we need to operate in. And what we see here in the Yakima Valley is that we have some of the highest percentages of positive cases of counties across our state and across the nation. And whether we like it or not, we have been asked to go through a phasing process by which we can operate social events by the state. We right now are in phase 1, and in order to progress through a 4-stage process, we would need to meet numbers in Yakima County to even host something like Hop and Brew School. And the projections that we're seeing right now with the information that we have right now, we are not confident that we will get there in the short term. That's challenging to us all, but those influence some of our decisions that we have to make. So with that, if we really lean on our core goals as 1, safety, and 2, quality, we are making the decision to take harvest virtual this year. And we do that based on some decisions around a pandemic that no one completely understands. We are doing that now on June 10th, because we know the responsibility that we have to our family farms here in Yakima, in Oregon, and in Idaho. And with the information that we have at hand, we are making the decision to extend that invite to everyone across the globe to join in and experience harvest through a virtual experience. Now, some of the debate that we've had internally has been, man, that is not what harvest is about. What harvest is about is sitting on a tailgate of a pickup truck and having a beer in a hop field. So this is a big change for us. And what I wanted to really explain to everyone listening, to all of our staff who might watch this on a recording or are watching this live, is that we as a company will challenge ourselves. We have a very clear set of goals. We have a very clear vision, and we will hold each other accountable to those things. Here at Yakima Chief, we say our values are based in pride. P is passion. Passion for people, product, and processes. R is for respect. Respect for teamwork and collective responsibility. And that one we've leaned on a lot for these COVID decisions. I is integrity. This is a pillar which we stand on, and we challenge the rest of the entire industry to provide integrity and accountability for all that we do. D is dedication to quality and sustainability. We are a multi-generational company. We service and represent multi-generational farms, and we will be here for multiple generations. And E, excellence. This is an emphasis on innovation and continuous improvement. And this one is what we're challenging ourselves to make sure that this virtual harvest experience is beyond, and we're servicing and sharing with more people across the globe than we ever have. We will continue to work all day, all night throughout harvest so that more people can experience what it's like to see a Carpenter family in action, a Perrault family in action, a St. Mary family in action. And that's what we're going to do and what we're dedicated to. So although this decision to go virtual is hard for us as a company that is built on relationships, it is also a challenge and an opportunity for us to continue to stretch our innovative minds to be the best servants for hop growers and for brewers. And we are damn proud of that. And we look forward to the challenge, and we are rooted in a good decision process. So please join us, spread the word, and continue to support family businesses.
Awesome, great. Well, thanks, Ryan. Those are some really good insights, and I have to say a couple things really stand out to me there. For us, going through the pride statement and those values that we really hold true have been that guiding light for us, like you said, and kind of navigating this really unique global scenario. And like you said, we're not looking at this as something that we're going to take a step back or pull back from what we normally do, because it is a big core of who we are. I know I often say it's the hardest, the most stressful, the most busiest time of year we possibly have, but it's also the absolute core of what we do, and it is what puts wind in our sails, and it's what drives us, and it's the most fun part of the year. So, with all that being said, and all of us experiencing a lot of these different challenges with COVID, we've all had to give up a lot. We've all had to miss opportunities and miss events and all those things that the beer industry really thrives on, it when being community as a beer industry. And so for us, we're looking at really pushing ourselves, and like you said, Ryan, challenging ourselves to do everything we can to not give that up, and instead bring that to more people, and to make it bigger and make it better. And anyone that's ever come to Yakima or is planning on coming, you won't have to lose anything. It's going to be more than we've ever really done, and I actually hope it sets a new bar for ourselves even for years to come. So thank you. And I know you touched on it a little bit about Yakima. And kind of what we're seeing here locally. And I guess, Steve, you've been a really big guide for us, in all of these conversations with the company and with growers, and I think it brought a lot of wisdom to us. And so could you maybe talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing kind of from your perspective and with growers in the Yakima Valley?
Yeah, sure, Brian. I think being the old guy and being around when the company started more than 3 decades ago, it's a little frustrating for me because, back in those days, we didn't have the degree of transparency, and it's hard to believe this. And I tell this to some of the younger folks, there really wasn't a lot of brewer and grower interaction back then. The system really wasn't conducive to it. And so it's a little bit sad to me to know that we won't be making that personal contact with our grower customers this year. But one of our values that Ryan mentioned is innovation, and hopefully this can pave the way to a new innovative way to keep that connection, but keep people safe. And, here in the Yakima Valley and Yakima County, the politicians can put human beings in lockdown mode to fight the virus, but unfortunately the hops and the other ag crops don't pay much attention to the politicians. They keep growing. And so our challenge becomes, how do we keep our people safe and continue to create the hops that our brewer customers need to make great beer? And that's kind of been our focus of attention. I know all up and down the supply chain here at Yakima Chief, the processing part of the company, we've had lots of specific things that we've done to keep people safe and continue to do there. I know my son Tyler, who's still on the farm, he and two other gentlemen, that's their job first thing in the morning, is just checking temperatures, making sure everyone's healthy. It's a little bit easier to do social distancing when you're outside, which most of our family members who are farm employees are able to do. But that's the main thing. And quite frankly, I think that's the main focus behind our decision to attempt to bring the hop harvest to you this year instead of you coming to see us. And we hope that changes next year. We're going to miss that interaction, but again, our focus is creating wonderful hops to help you make wonderful beer and keeping our people safe in the process.
No, that's excellent. Thanks, Steve. Some good insights for sure. Awesome. Well, I know, Steve, you mentioned bringing harvest to you. And so I guess Dean and Dennis, I'm going to ask you guys, we haven't really touched on what are those commitments? What are those things we're going to be doing? What's there to look forward to? What does that mean when we say virtual harvest and bringing it to you? So I guess to both of you, what are your perspectives kind of from overseas? And also, what are you looking forward to for yourselves, for staff, for customers?
Yeah, to jump in first there, I think it's really a great opportunity for brewers from really Rome to Beijing to tap into content and have the harvest experience, which they might not have before. So we're really excited that we can broaden our base and bring the harvest experience to the brewing community. But I think also a really positive piece out of it as well is that our brewing customers can share this content with their customers. So it goes beyond just the brewery, because as we all know, there's craft beer enthusiasts all around the world which can tap into this content as well. So really looking forward to harvest. It will be a shame that we're not there in person, but there's really a lot of positive around the whole initiative.
Yeah, as Ryan mentioned earlier, there was a lot of thought and a lot of emotion that's been going into this decision. And this was certainly something that's not been taken lightly. For those of you who've been to Yakima during harvest, you know that nothing compares to the energy and those intimate interactions with our hop growers and their workers who provide you your hops. It's a truly unique experience, and I can't think of another industry, ag or other, that kind of brings farm production or production in general with the customers so closely. And it's really the basis of our mission of the company, as mentioned earlier, of bringing family farms to the world's finest brewers. So, and nothing says it more than that experience in Yakima. As an international sales team, we've tried over the years at looking at bringing Yakima to the brewers and trying to bring a piece of the Yakima harvest experience to our customers. Those of you who've worked with our local distributors here in Europe know that we've held hop events where we'll fly in we'll fly in growers, we'll fly in hop samples, and we'll try and have that experience there at their facility. Of course, nothing's going to compare driving out to Moxie to go get a top coater at Bale Breaker and smelling that kiln. But it is something that we've tried over the years. What we're now proposing this year, I think, is really unique, and it's an experience that it's going to open it up not only to a few hundred brewers, but thousands of breweries all over the world. So how cool is it going to be to be sitting in, at Loftus Ranches while Simcoe's being picked, and you're hearing Patrick Smith narrate about his farm, or being able to walk an HBC experimental hop field with Jason Peralt and hear him describe what goes into hop breeding and hop development. So I think what we're looking at proposing this year is going to be something that's going to be unique and hopefully change the industry for a while. So looking forward to it.
No, that's great. I think, you both touch on some really important things there. Is we always try in that goal of bringing growers and brewers together is trying to not just have people come here, but bring that out. And we've done that several different ways in the past, like you said, different events, having growers do some travels, getting core samples and hosting some hop rubs, different places. But I think this year it's that opportunity, Dean, like you said, it's not just the people that could travel here, maybe that would get to have that experience anymore. It's anyone. It's beer drinkers, beer enthusiasts. So I think really for more people this year than ever, they'll get to be part of what it means to be in Yakima Valley during hop harvest, or in Oregon during hop harvest, or in Idaho during hop harvest, and really highlight this amazing growing region we're in, and really bring it on a global scale. So, in the past, it's been those who've had the means to make it here, or the time to make it here. And that's a real challenge for a lot of people. And especially, I think, with the, COVID-19 this year, I think we're all feeling a lot of different impacts and kind of what's possible for the rest of the year. And so hopefully that eases some of that burden for everyone, and everyone can plug in different ways and see what it's all about. So that's awesome. I think of those that normally do travel here, and kind of the bulk of what that means is, Ryan, you touched on it in the beginning, but every year, we also host hop selection, right? That time where some of our customers come out and rub, smell hops, and pick what lots that they're gonna define their beer for the brewing year. So Blaze, I guess I'll throw this over to you. Maybe could you just tell us a little bit about what, how's that going to be impacted by this virtual harvest, and what might that look like this year?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm an in-person relationship kind of guy. My best times and a lot of my time during harvest is spent with my customers. A lot of the U.S. key accounts coming in and hanging out with hop growers and supporting our mission of connecting family hop farms with the world's finest brewers. So in an effort to help the situation and be safe and collectively responsible, we're taking a year off from that in-person relationship part, and with that we're gearing up for a really good virtual experience that can reach a lot more people. So in doing that now, I think we're poised to really execute on that quite well, and reach out to more customers and really get more of those connections virtually. As far as hop selection goes, honestly, I've been doing virtual selection like we're going to be doing this year. I've been doing that for 2 years now. We've invested a whole lot of time and a whole lot of resources from our company to build a selection program that can be navigated quite easily and have all the data that the customer needs virtually. And I've hosted many virtual selections. So as far as differences there, I mean, instead of being in a selection room at YCH at our campus, you're going to be most likely rubbing hops with your team and your brewery, however you do that socially distant with your policies. So I don't see any differences really in hop availability or the hops that you're going to see. We're off to a good year. I was just in the Yakima Valley driving through last weekend. Hops are looking great and things are going good. So no concerns there from quality. And even if you don't select, I mean, we do a great job getting those group runs for all our customers. So.
Yeah, that's excellent, Blaze. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that's something that, for a lot of our customers that maybe have come and selected hops in the past, maybe they weren't aware that we've actually been doing virtual selections for quite some time, and kind of always honing in how we do that and making sure that it's just as good of an experience, whether you're here on a farm or in our own facilities doing that or not. And so, like you said, feeling very confident this year that, we'll be able to bring that same experience to everyone that normally would, and some new people, and really not have to, like I said, not have to give up on what any of this means, but maybe just a different setting around you. And I think there's a lot of opportunities, like you said, for people to include more members of your team, since you're not having to fly people around, following the safe practices at your facilities. But you can include more people, and still plug in and still talk with our sales team and ask questions and engage with all the lot information. So yeah, definitely a lot to look forward to this year. And, I think we've touched on a little bit too with, as you mentioned, bringing it out to everyone. And Dennis, you kind of talked a little bit about, farm tours and stuff like that. And, for this virtual harvest experience, we're really making the commitment this year that during the harvest season, we're going to have daily content of some kind for everyone to jump on, plug into, see what's going on. And as always, we're looking at highlighting our farms, our growers, our facilities, our own staff. I think for everyone really to get to know all those people. But I also think for those that can't travel here this year, it's bringing that Valley, Yakima Valley, Oregon, Idaho experience out to the world. And so I think we'll probably look at some non-farm related things too, and just, what are those normal places that people travel and see, and things that people do while they're here in the Yakima Valley, or if they're down in the Willamette Valley or over in Idaho, whatever that looks like, trying to bring that out to everyone so everyone can see and experience what it means to be here in the Pacific Northwest during hop harvest. And then I know it was kind of mentioned a little bit too, but with Hop and Brew School this year, that's obviously a big event that we normally look forward to and hosting everyone. And kind of the fun part of Hop and Brew School is always it has a big hop focus, but it also has a big focus of bringing in other resources and information from other speakers from around the globe. And so that's one of these opportunities I think we have in this virtual selection or virtual harvest or any of that is that we don't have to give that up either. And so we are looking at having Hop and Brew School go virtual. So look for that as well as part of this virtual harvest experience is, virtual Hop and Brew School presents topics too, where it might not just be Yakima Valley focused, but maybe different speakers who have experience in the Yakima Valley or with hop harvest, or just bring really good information that kind of ties into the time of year and what's going on. So there's a lot of big plans happening and a lot of really cool things to look forward to. And I would say for anyone watching now or later as this is recorded or anything, really to stay plugged in, stay engaged, watch our social media, watch what we post about and what we blog about, because we've turned really quick and we're making a lot of big plans and we already have a lot of things dialed in. And, we're going to be announcing all those things as we get closer and closer so everyone can see what they can get excited for. So I guess with that, we've got a couple of questions and things like that popping in the chat here. So we'll try to address those. But before I start reading through some of those, is there any other thoughts or anything that anyone else wanted to bring up from the group here?
I might just add, Brian, that one of the things we discovered going through this uncomfortable pandemic is we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings. And that means we're able to meet in our office and reduce travel, reduce our carbon footprint. Sustainability is a huge value for us. And hopefully that's one of the side benefits from experimenting with the virtual harvest this year is just to reduce travel, to reduce our carbon footprint in the process. So it's uncomfortable. It's not anything anybody wants to go through, but if what we're doing helps the planet in the process, that's a good thing as well.
Yeah, that's great, Steve. Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Just one other thing, Brian. This really has allowed us to reflect on the business, look a little bit inward, and what we have discovered from a lot of those conversations, those reflections, is that our values are very strong. We have looked at our family, farms, farm workers, employees, brewing partners. And we always say, I think it's used in so many times, is that term partnership. I think that's more valuable than ever. And those of you who do business with us know that it's more than just a word to us, it's a commitment. And in that reflection, as we look globally outside of the valley walls of here in Yakima and in Oregon and in Idaho, I guess if there's some influence that we can have on that is just an ask, and we'll live this as well, is to continue to stay committed to working with family businesses, whether that's our own family business or whether that's the brew pub down the road. Craft beer relies on hops. Hops relies on beer. It's a symbiotic relationship. And it's very important that we all support each other and support family-owned businesses throughout this time. For us, one of the big hurdles of thinking about going virtual this year, of course, our goal is safety. And what that means to us is 300 full-time employee families and 175 other families that come and work and process hops 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from September 1st through January. That's meaningful, and those families are incredibly important to us. That extends when, like I said, my estimates is there's about 3,000 people that visit the little town of Yakima, and that has influence. So we're committed to supporting our families. We're committed to supporting our communities, and as Steve said, we view that as sustainable. So I just ask, we get a lot of questions from our partners and say, what can we do? And I guess I can be clear to tell you, please support family businesses, whether that's the brewery down the road, whether that's your hop supplier or your malt supplier. Support those who have a like ethos in what you do for your business.
Awesome. No, that's a great message, Ryan. And I know, for us, it's been that challenge of, wanting to help in any way we can, support, all of our partnerships that do exist right across the globe. And so I know we've done a lot of things as a company to try to help leverage, our healthy position as a company to the benefit of others to kind of help through this time. But I think it'll be important, like you said, supporting local and family-run businesses is, during hop harvest, it's a big benefit for our organization and for our growers and for everyone that attends. But it has a big impact on Yakima and on the Pacific Northwest. I mean, Yakima specifically is, we're a small community, right, in the scale of the world. This is a small valley. And so, having less people travel this year and come here has effects outside of our industry, but just on our local communities. And so I know this year we will be looking at, supporting in any way we can some of those businesses that would normally rely on a really, really busy end of August, really busy September to really help them out through the year. So I know this year we are looking at, spot sales or even some contracts and things like that. Things that our customers will do business with us is giving some of that back to our community as well. We don't want to ask anyone traveling or living in other communities to have to support our community, because we know everyone is being affected by this and everyone has those challenges right there in front of them. But we know that in that partnership we have with others, that we can utilize that to provide back to our own community as well. So I think, like you said, it's something that we take very seriously, and we're definitely committing to for this harvest season. All right, awesome. Well, I guess just unless there's any other thoughts, a couple of questions out here is just, I kind of mentioned Hop and Brew School, but one is when can we start signing up for these things? I guess I could talk a little bit about that, and if anyone else wants to jump in. We don't have Hop and Brew School registration open yet, as we were having to make a lot of those changes on what that looks like this year. But we will have that open. We're targeting no later than July 1 to have that ready. We're doing a lot of the mapping out now, like I said, of all this different content and what's Hop and Brew School content, what's virtual harvest content, and kind of how do they fit together. So look forward to, that for everyone. And then really for another question we have here is also is virtual harvest events free of charge? Yes, it is. That's something that we're very committed to. We know everyone has challenges this year, and in that effort to try to bring this to as many people as possible, we didn't want to charge people for the experience. That's normally the barrier of traveling here, right? Is the cost and the expense and the time. And with that not being the case, we feel like we wanted to bring that out to everyone as much as possible, as globally as possible, without necessarily having that barrier of needing to pay to have that experience. Hop harvest is really special, and it's a big part of our whole beer industry. And there's so many people that are passionate about hops here and everywhere. And so we felt like it wouldn't be fair to hide that behind a wall of any kind for anyone. We really want to bring that experience as wide as possible. So, and then another question here is just if people do find themselves in the Yakima Valley or in Oregon or Idaho this year. What can they expect if they do travel here, and how might we approach that, kind of knowing that we're looking at trying to keep safety top of mind? So I guess I'll turn over to maybe Ryan or if anyone else has some thoughts on how we'll best do that.
Yeah, I can speak to that, Brian. I guess there will be people, we have these strong relationships, and like I say, there is a migration coming to Yakima, and we don't want to deter that from happening. We just are going to have some different standards and expectations on what safety looks like. Like I said, our production facilities are up and running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if COVID is still around at that time and there was an outbreak within one of our facilities, that would not only put our families at risk, but that could potentially have a major impact on hop processing and hop production. Our standards of quality also put at risk. So people who come to the Valley, that's great. Just please be respectful and check in. Our staff will still be here. The farms will still be operating. And we just want to extend that extra caution to people so that they're safe and we're safe as we wander through this world together in the land of COVID, this unseen, lurking somewhat of a monster out there that isn't in our control. What is in our control is just kind of clear expectations and safety measures, kind of what Steve talked about, is making sure that there's social distance and there's measures in place to make sure that people are safe. So increased communication, heads up when you do come to town, and awareness that there is a lot of stress and pressure to keep people safe. And there's a lot of systems put in place. So please just follow those systems and be aware of some of those standards that we're working through.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. That's great. Steve, I got a question for you, I think. Looks like Max Breachichu, he said, do you expect the whole crop to be reduced this summer, or total amounts will be more than previous years? Steve, I know you got a wealth of experience in that. Is there any insights you have on that?
Sure. I think obviously hops are an agricultural crop, and I always tell people that I will give an absolutely accurate crop projection on October 15th every year. But I can tell you what we've done internally. I can't speak for the whole industry, but what we've done at Yakima Chief was quickly knowing that this COVID pandemic would impact us and impact our customers. We scrambled around about the middle of March and got our team together and decided it would be prudent for us to reduce our volume this year. We felt, especially some of our smaller customers that don't have access to canning or bottling, there would be just a reduction in their ability to brew beer. We factored in the politicians' decision to, shut brew pubs, and we felt the responsible thing to do was to go out to our growers and ask them to join us in reducing the volume that we would take in this year to more closely align it with what we felt demand would be. So we've made some reductions in certain varieties. We've kept the volumes in certain varieties that we think will have demand for. And overall, our growers will be delivering a smaller percentage this year than they have in the past. I can echo what I think Blaze mentioned earlier. I've been out and about a little bit over the weekends. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to get out among our farms. And I haven't been down to Oregon yet. Hope to rectify that in the next week or two. But in general, the crop looks good. There's a little bit of spottiness here and there, uneven growth in some yards. But in general, things look good. Our water supply is adequate this year. That's something we always worry about a little bit here in Yakima County because we rely on the irrigation water and the reservoirs and the snowpack. But so far, everything looks good. But we're expecting internally to handle less volume this year than we did last year.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve, for that update. That's really good insights. I think Ryan touched a little bit on partnerships, and I think it's not to linger on that topic too long, but it's a really big testament to, I think, our company, all of our growers, and really all of our brewers that we work with, that we were able to make that decision this year and make those adjustments really quickly, and kind of in a time of year where it's things are moving pretty quick. But I feel very confident, and I know all of us here do, that we're trying to do the right things we're trying to make sure we're all set up to succeed as growers, as brewers, so that, you know, we're not just hoping we'll grow. We understand those impacts have affected everyone, and that, you know, we need to plan accordingly. So, well, great. I actually don't see any other questions that came in. So I guess I just wanted to, we'll kind of wrap things up here. We're about 45 minutes into talking, and I think that's probably a good place to end. So I guess just as a reminder, you know, for everyone this year, Harvest is going virtual. Hop and Brew School is going virtual. So like I mentioned already, just be looking forward to all sorts of fun content to really bring Harvest to everyone around the world. And, you know, by everyone around the world, that isn't just us speaking English either. I think we have a lot of opportunities to provide things at different times for different parts of the world, in different languages for different parts of the world. And we're looking to do it really big, and we're not looking to give up on anything that's been part of hop history is in the past. So grower interviews, staff interviews, you know, look at facility tours, parts of the Yakima Valley, and a lot of cool speakers for all of our Hop and Brew School present topics. So with that, I just thank you everyone for who watched this live, or for those of you who are maybe watching this recorded later at a different time. Glad to see all of you, as I haven't seen a lot of you in person as well, for all of the talking heads on this screen. And so thank you very much for all your time today as well. It's been really insightful, and always nice to chat with all of you. So yeah, with that, you guys have any other closing thoughts? Otherwise, I think we can wrap this up. All right. Sounds good. Thank you all very much, and have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Thanks, Brian.